And then the quarterback position, I think
Yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna learn, in fall camp. Like the fact that Gunner is the SEC Media Days guy, we're all reading into that a lot. That like clearly he's like a leader of the team. So it doesn't feel like it's a true competition here, but Kirby's not naming a starter or whatever. So, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what we can truly learn in the spring unless, I guess if Puglisi starts, it would have to mean that he just balled out and he was just left no doubt or something.
Yeah, that would be pretty insane to see Puglisi starting because, like I agree. Like the SEC Media Days thing at first seemed like a huge tip off, right? Like they would not be sending the backup quarterback to this, but maybe they would, and maybe it really is just completely open. And right now, when Kirby Smart goes to bed tonight, he doesn't know who he's going to start week 1. But I kind of have a hunch that maybe he just doesn't want to name a starter just as a coaching tactic, forcing other coaches to prepare for multiple guys, not giving them the luxury of only locking in on watching Gunnar Stockton film. And I don't know, maybe that's just me making something up. It probably is, but I would be really I know they're not technically naming a starter, but what percent chance do you give Ryan Puglisi starting week 1?
Like less than 5%.
Yeah, me too. My jaw would hit the floor. That would be Kirby Smart
outside of a Gunner injury.
Of course.
Honestly,
I just mean, purely football decision. We could start either one of these guys. We're starting Ryan Puglisi. That's nothing against Ryan Puglisi. I think Ryan Puglisi is pretty good from everything, the limited game action that we've seen him in. But it's Gunnar Stockton just started a college football playoff game. He took over for the second half of the SEC championship. He won them that. The whole team seems to freaking love the guy. He's been at Georgia this will be his 4th year on campus. He got sent to SEC Media Days. He is doing promos with EA Sports for college football, which I know that's Kirby Smart would not bonk me over the head if he heard me using that as a reason for why a guy's going to be the starting quarterback. But all of that to say, there's no way, right? There's no way this is actually going to come down to the wire. I would be
shocked. I want to ask Kirby Smart a question. Are quarterbacks allowed to wear single-digit numbers at Georgia?
Hey,
can you think of one?
Jaden Rashada did it, right? No,
he was number 10.
He won number 10.
Eason was 10.
Oh, man.
DeJuan Mathis was 2, and Justin Fields, I guess, was 1.
Justin Fields. Yeah,
I think every other, because there's that picture of the quarterback room a couple years ago, and it's 12, 13, 14, 15, all the quarterbacks.
I think there was some random backup that wore number 9 a couple years ago. It was, I don't even remember the guy's name.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a random thought, not important.
That's interesting. I never thought about that.
But yeah, I really just want to see these receivers. I think I'm just so excited about Georgia's receivers. I don't know what we're going to learn in fall camp, but I just want to hear. I want to hear that this receiving group is just as improved as we all want it to be. Who's the name? Is it Thomas Blackshear? Is that his name? True freshman. He's a guy who's getting hype, and it's that's how it always seems to be with Georgia. Georgia signs a 5-star or something, and then this is the guy who's creating some buzz. It's Georgia goes out and an AD Mitchell or something, a 3-star, borderline 4-star kind of dude comes in and is just oh yeah, by the way, this guy's a baller. Who knows? I think he's the number 8 receiver or something right now, but yeah, outside. Right now, just this pecking order. Maybe we get a better idea of what the pecking order is after the fall. But, I think it's Colby Young. I think it's Noah Thomas. It's Zachariah Branch. You hear more and more about Dylan Bell potentially playing more running back. I don't know if Georgia needs him in the backfield. I just love Dylan Bell as an athlete, just as a weapon on offense. And then who am I not even naming? London Humphrey, Sokovie White,
CJ Wiley,
and Taylon Taylor. So I just think this group, if Thomas Blackshear is a guy who's creating a buzz over here, I don't know. I think this group could just be insanely deep this year.
Yeah, I think it's fair to expect them to use at least, 6 guys in a rotation. I would imagine, like, right now it'd be at your X, you would have Noah Thomas and Colby Young. At your Z, you'd probably be starting Dylan Bell, I'd imagine, just because he's been there forever and he knows all the calls and all the signals and everything. And he's also just, like you said, he's a great athlete, even though I think he drops the ball too much. But you probably have Dylan Bell, like London Humphreys, and then in the slot, it would be Zachariah Branch and then like Sakobe White. And then beyond that, those are all the guys that aren't freshmen. And I think it's fair to assume like at least one of these freshmen and or redshirt freshmen is going to work his way into that rotation. I'm not going to say that any of them is just going to break out and be a huge star, although ask me on the right day about what I think about CJ Wiley, and I might tell you something crazy, So, but yeah, I think it is going to be a pretty deep group, and I do expect that to easily be the most improved position on the team.
And I think that's where, as Georgia fans, we're just kind of like we keep comparing this team to like other Georgia teams, and they don't have to be as good as other Georgia teams.
No,
because it's like I hear other fans talk about their team and kind of the amount of freshmen that they're relying on to kind of make a difference, and I feel like I'm almost trained now under Kirby Smart to not expect anything from a freshman. Like anything we get from a freshman is just a bonus. And we have a damn good team, and then all of a sudden, Brock Bowers is the best offensive player. You got a really good team, and then all of a sudden Malachi Starks is an impact player. Michael Williams or something like that. Like Nate Frazier, a guy a year ago. So, and they ended up kind of needing Frazier. He wasn't exactly a cherry on top.
That was not a luxury at all. That was
like, not at all. So, maybe it's that sort of situation where it's a deep group, and any impact from a freshman is because these freshmen are the real deal, and they're getting some snaps as well. And then the tight end group is just, obviously it could be better because you could have Brock Bowers, but in terms of how deep it is, like it's just like Jaden Riddell is a guy I always forget about, but like with Delp and Lucky, like I don't think there's a team in college football that has two better tight ends like than Delp and Lucky. Like I think Lucky is the closest thing that Georgia has to a Brock Bowers in terms of just a dynamic receiving threat at that position. But Delp is just a great all-around tight end, I think. And maybe I'm selling him short for how good of a receiver he is, but I have no doubts on how good the tight end group is. And like I said, Jaden Riddell, like the third one, and then Elias Williams and Ethan Barbour coming in. Like it's just kind of stupid. Am I forgetting someone?
Colton Heinrich also there.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's a sick group. Sorry,
for sure. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, I think Riddell is gonna. I would love to see Riddell get on the field a good bit. They redshirted him last year. I mean, they like to get pretty freaky with their tight ends. The amount of times they'll come out in 12 or 13 personnel. Like they come out in two tight end sets a lot. And obviously Delp and Lucky are going to be the two guys on the field for that. But Jaden Riddell also, coaching staff seems to love him. He's super athletic. Like, this tight end room, I think has potential to be like the strength of the team or one of the biggest strengths of the team. I mean, you have Oscar Delp. Yeah, I agree. Like, not a flashy player by any means. And, it's not really his fault that he had to come in and be the starter right after Brock Bowers. That just kind of sucks to follow. But, he's a great blocker, really good in the red zone. I think he had like 4 touchdowns to end the year last year. I mean, like the amount of times he's able to just like block a guy, chip off, get open, all of a sudden catch a pass in the red zone or in the flat. Like that's where his value, I think, is as a receiver. Is just like the amount of times he can, release off a block and just kind of squiggle open. And then, you have Lucky. That's your more conventional receiving threat. And he's been a very solid player for a while now. So I'm excited about the tight end room. I would love to see Jaden Riddell get on the field a good bit this year. That would be really fun.
Yeah, for sure. The worst thing that happened to Oscar Delp was that one-handed catch he made against Florida, and in the first game Bowers was out. It was like, oh, Georgia's not going to miss a beat. This guy's just as good. But no.
Yeah, no one
I
Brock Bowers.
Yeah. And then the O-line, I feel like the O-line is kind of it wasn't very good last year, so
Yeah.
it's kind of, it's a silver lining. But I feel like there's more experience than I feel like people are giving credit to this offensive line group. Like Micah Morris is a guy who's played a lot of football, and he's not a returning starter. Drew Bobo has played a decent amount. Like Jared Wilson had some injuries last year, so and he's also the son of a 20-year offensive coordinator. Like this guy has to know the game pretty well, right?
He was famously the head coach's ring bearer.
Oh, is that right?
He was the ring bearer at Kirby Smart's wedding.
Oh, that's awesome. But I guess if your dad doesn't know ball, then I guess it doesn't help you, right? I guess.
I would hope his dad knows a little ball.
No,
he's employed as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, exactly. But Ernest Green, Monroe Freeling, both back. Who's left? Is Monroe Freeling
They're
left?
Them. That's what I was gonna say. Is like there is experience along. There's experience on this offensive line, but it still also looks completely different because even the guys that are coming back are not the same. Ernest Green is switching to right, and Monroe Freeling is playing left. And then you have Michael Morris at guard, Drew Bobo at center, and then I guess the only thing we haven't really figured out yet is who's going to be that other guard between Calhoun and Ulini.
And you think there's any chance Juan Gaston is the right guard?
I wouldn't think he'd start right away. I mean, you think about it, it was Daniel Calhoun's job to lose in the spring. Maybe not his job to lose, but he definitely seemed to have kind of the inside track. Then he got injured right before G-Day, had to miss it. So Michael Ulini gets to start. So I think it's going to be between those two guys. I think they're going to give both of those guys every chance to get it before they start moving down the list.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, I mean, I think as Georgia fans, like with all of these conversations, it's like we're really worried about this O-line group. But I think this is more experience and a higher pedigree than a lot of other teams have to begin with. And so we're just like, yeah, but we can't be the best in the country with this offensive line. It's like, maybe not. Maybe they could be, but maybe you don't have to be the best in the country. But, Georgia's just used to having one of the elite offensive lines, and we need to get back to that and not have the 15th ranked running game in the SEC.
Yeah, like I don't think it's a patchwork offensive line by any means. It's probably going to be one of the better ones in the SEC, but like, yeah, it's fair. Like you look at last year, I think there were just objectively better players on that offensive line, particularly in the interior with Ratledge, Fairchild, and Jared Wilson. And I feel like they still kind of underperformed. And maybe that means those guys aren't as good as I think they are, but I don't really think that. I don't really think that's the case, and I don't think NFL scouts thought that was the case, which is why they all went on like day 2. So I don't know, man. It's hard to see, like, I guess where I land with this offensive line at the end of the day is like, I don't think it's going to be some disaster that like derails the whole offense. But I have a hard time imagining it will be a substantial improvement over what we saw last year, because I just feel like last year was a more talented group.
I guess that's true. I would almost be surprised if it wasn't substantially better, because it doesn't seem like Georgia can be as bad as they were in 2024. You know what I mean? Even though the talent level, it's like that's more of just a vibes thing, because I don't know the exact individuals that are going to make it better, but it's like surely, not to call you Shirley, but surely it can't be as bad as it was in 2020. Like that's the worst run game Georgia's had in 20 years.
Yeah, I know, but like that's what makes it so scary to think about as a Georgia fan, right? Is like, yeah, that was like the worst Georgia run game like in a while, and they have news. Those guys are all, Jared Wilson was a first year starter, but all they were saying about him that whole spring leading up to this was that he was like the man, and he was really good. And then you had Ratledge, who's a team captain coming in. You have Fairchild, who, was a returning starter, all SEC guy.
Not to mention ETN.
Yeah, exactly. Another established player. And it's like, yes, these guys that they have now also, were blue chip recruits, and some of them have been with the program for a long time, and a lot of them have game experience, but it's like you just don't. I feel like you cannot feel as good about this offensive line as you could have the year before, and the year before was an underperformance. So I just don't.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely fair. And if you, as Georgia fans who are truly watching every snap last year, like I think national people might see Trevor Etienne like, yeah, he was whatever for Georgia and see his stats, but it's you watched every game, it's like he was like the best playmaker on the field for Georgia.
Yeah.
And like he was getting 3-yard runs where he would make 4 people miss. Exactly. Like he was he did a lot for this offense. And so yeah, bad running game and you lose the best running back and the 3 best offensive linemen. I don't know that it's going to be better, but
how is it going to be better? Like,
I don't know. I just feel like it can't be worse.
I guess we could start talking about the running backs then, because that's another, if the run game is going to be better than it was for Georgia last season, I would venture to say that would be in large part due to Josh McCray, who is the big shiny new power back that they picked up out of the portal from Illinois. His coming off, I think he was like, his total stats on the season were like pretty good. It was like 750 rushing yards and like 7 or 8 touchdowns. His last game was a bowl game where he averaged like 10 yards a carry and scored 2 touchdowns. This guy's like 6'1", 235, huge kid. They're letting him wear number 2, which you and I are both big jersey number aficionados. I feel like that always says something. I really think that this guy could be a really good compliment to Nate Frazier.
Yeah,
he's a much bigger back, kind of more in that Kendall Milton mold, and that's kind of what Georgia needed last year. Is like Etienne was like a physical back, and he ran hard and he fought for extra yards every time. Don't get me wrong, but like at the end of the day, Trevor Etienne cannot do anything about the fact that he's just a small guy naturally.
Yeah,
like you can only be that much of a bruiser when you're 5'7", 200 or whatever Trevor Etienne is. And Josh McCray is like much bigger than that. And I think that is kind of an element that Georgia's running game didn't really have last year after Roderick Robinson just kind of missed the whole year. Between him coming back and them getting McCray, I think the run game is going to have a much needed element of like oomph to it that it didn't really have last year.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think Etienne was almost more of that like DeAndre Swift kind of mold of like he's physical for elusive, shifty guy. Yeah, but it's like he's not the guy you want consistently between the tackles like a Kendall Milton. Like Dejon Edwards had Kendall Milton to get. Although Dejon Edwards could squeak through those holes, he was slippery. But yeah, and McCray had 10 touchdowns last year. I think that's I didn't watch every Illinois game, but I'm assuming some of those were short yardage, and he's that that kind of bowling ball that can get some physical yards. But I mean, outside of them, that's why I think maybe Dylan Bell, we do see him get some carries. Maybe it's Bo Walker. I don't know if I haven't heard much about Dwight Phillips. Who else did you say?
Chauncey Bowens looks pretty good.
Chauncey Bowens, that's right.
I don't know. I kind of hope that this is nothing against Dylan Bell, because he did have he looked pretty nifty at running back every now and then, but I kind of hope that Dylan Bell remains just an emergency option for the backfield.
Yeah,
because I don't want Georgia to just kind of. I think it would be kind of bad if Georgia was giving up on this group, and giving the ball to a wide receiver so much, because like. They always invest a lot in the running back position, and it's coming off of a down year as a whole. I think it would be kind of deflating to see Dylan Bell snaps in the backfield. It would be like, we still haven't figured this out, so we're going to try what we tried against Ball State in 2023.
Was that the game?
Something like that. It was one of those first games, I think. That was when he had like a 25-yard rushing touchdown.
Yes, and he looked good at running back. That's the only thing, except for the number 86. He should have switched to was it Montgomery? Was something Montgomery for the Packers?
Oh, Ty Montgomery,
rocking number 80.
because I think he got drafted as a receiver, and they just straight up like moved him to running back, and he's rocking 88. Cordell Patterson had that too with the Atlanta Falcons. Was like he was wearing 84 playing running back, and like I didn't hate it, man. I thought it was so weird that like I couldn't help but be like, this is cool.
What, with Cordell Patterson?
Yeah, both of them, honestly. Well, Ty Montgomery not so much, just because he played for the Packers, and I don't like them. But Cordell Patterson, like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I remember a Teddy Bridgewater quote from a couple years ago where he was like, "You can wear whatever number you want," and he was wearing like number 98 or something.
Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, when he first signed with the Lions in the preseason, he wore number 50. He later changed it, but he did wear number 50 for us in the preseason.
Guys, you can wear whatever number you want. There's no rules.
They got rid of the rule. You can do that now.
Oh, that's terrible. At some point, it's going to happen. All the single digits and team numbers are going to be taken, and someone's going to get a quarterback, and they're going to be rocking number 38.
Yeah, 22, the old Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, the old Stetson Bennett, old Doug